customers want to be able to open an account and transact immediately. There was a time when you opened an account and you actually had to wait for checks to come to be able to transact. Now you had to pay for those checks. When you get your debit card, you're able to transact immediately. And we have invested in having machines at each of our branches to print those debit cards so customers can walk away immediately and do transactions. We also have some work to do with regard to our credit cards. There is an opportunity for us to do the same thing with our credit cards that we've done with our debit cards. We are working on that. That's going to take us a little bit more time. But again, I'm hopeful in 2023, maybe 2024, when we issue a new credit card, customers will be able to spend immediately as well. This is part of the transformation. This is how we want to make it easier for customers to do banking and provide greater touch points for our customers, greater access to their money. This is just the evolution of banking. It's really exciting. There's a lot more exciting things to come as we go forward.
I'm sure that the consumers and the viewers can appreciate your transparency and having to make mention of those areas that you're still working towards. Now, of course, Scotiabank was one of the first, or the first to offer mobile banking in many countries within the Caribbean. You talked about your mobile app features. Can you share with us what are some of the features that's actually on the horizon?
As I shared with you earlier, and this is not the mobile app per se, but our online banking, new to bank customers. So we will be able, hopefully, I would say, during the course of 2023, new to bank customers will be able to start to open an account online. We'll either finish it in the branch, or in some cases, we'll finish that process end-to-end digitally. So if you're a Bahamian, maybe you're in Exum, or maybe you're in Andros, Eleuthera, you'll be able to open an account digitally and start to transact almost immediately as well. I think in those cases, we'll have to mail the debit card to you, but you'll have immediate access to your funds. So these are some of the things that we're working on. We continue to invest in technology to keep our mobile app safe, to keep our payment platform safe. So these are some of the innovations that we do have on the way as we go into 2023.
That's definitely good to know. Well, Roger, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. And I want to thank Scotiabank for sponsoring today's show. If you haven't already, follow You and Your Money on Facebook and tune in next week for a brand new episode. I'm Ria Christina. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
To learn more about Scotiabank's offerings, visit bs.scotiabank.com.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, government and tourism officials meet with American Airlines to discuss additional airlift to Grand Bahama. Officials from Cable Bahamas clarifying a recent public notice indicating an increase in bills. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you for watching. Topping the news, the island of Grand Bahama could expect a boost in tourism over the next few months as additional airlift is underway beginning as early as November. Tourism officials, along with the Ministry for Grand Bahama, meeting with American Airlines and executives from the Charlotte Regional Authority in North Carolina today in high-level discussions on the non-stop route to this island. Our Aja Quant is in North Carolina and filed this report.
The Ministry of Tourism and Ministry for Grand Bahama officials meeting with executives today here in North Carolina on the upcoming relaunch flight from Charlotte to Grand Bahama. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, expressing the importance of this route as he describes Charlotte as the second hub city for American Airlines. It was a room filled with excitement as the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, conversed with executives from the Charlotte Business Bureau. DPM Cooper says that Charlotte is an important market for the Bahamas.
We wanted to come to really till the soil here, if you will, really to nurture relationships. We met with the Visitors Bureau, and we are forming a strong partnership.
Minister Moxie also expressing that this is only the beginning for Grand Bahama. She says they are looking at the Bureau to assist with ensuring that the upcoming flight is filled.
We're doing all we can to get out there, promote Grand Bahama Island. We have a team here from Grand Bahama who is excited to be a part of ensuring that Grand Bahama is around the table. And I'm excited to be partnering with the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation as we look to not just ensure that, Grand Bahama is seen, but also that we're able to continue to improve the tourism product so that when we promote, we are promoting the best that Grand Bahama Island has to offer.
Executives with the Business Bureau say they are very excited to continue growing their relationship with the government on this endeavor.
We believe this is a great opportunity for people in the region and for all of the Southeast to get more connected through Charlotte down to the Bahamas.
The growth of our service to the Bahamas is an exciting opportunity coming out of the pandemic to really help connect leisure travelers to the island and business travelers who want to extend their time and work remote.
Now the flight is expected to take off out of Charlotte on November 5th, and Minister Moxie says they are looking at other cities for additional airlift for the island. Reporting in Charlotte, North Carolina for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant.
Thanks, Azure. In other news, some Cable Bahamas customers in New Providence will be placed on a new system, which is expected to come with a proposed fee increase. However, here on Grand Bahama, customers can breathe a sigh of relief as that shift is not expected on this island anytime soon. This evening, a rep from Cable Bahamas clarifies the public notice released recently. Shane Stubbs explains.
After Cable Bahamas put out a public notice of a forthcoming marginal price increase recently, questions began to swirl on what it could mean for residents economically. Providing clarity on the notice was Vice President of Cable Bahamas Marketing and Consumer Relations, Amber Carey, who says that the increase is related to a new product offering and will not impact customers paying for existing services. With the company seeking to migrate its customers onto a fiber-to-the-home system, it was announced that this coming November, unbundled and bundled customers moved to the new FTTH system will experience a $5 and $7 increase respectively. With that migration starting in New Providence this coming November, she also explains that for Grand Bahama, there is no time frame on when that process will begin to take place.
We are starting in New Providence with the conversion over to the new fiber-to-the-home network. And New Providence is first due to just the fact that it has aging infrastructure that we need to address immediately. So Grand Bahama will not be impacted by the price increase. However, once we're done with New Providence, we will make Grand Bahama a priority. What I would say is, I just ask customers to continue to stay tuned. We will continue to communicate with them regularly. We will make improvements to our website that are going to keep them up to date with exactly when we'll be bringing fiber to the home.
The new network is expected to give customers an improved experience and is said to provide stronger connections. It will also offer new product services, including IPTV, and this rollout is expected to continue over the next few months and years. Carey says all of this is to ensure services provided meet a global standard.
Continue to want to ensure that the network and services we provide, meet a global standard. And so the infrastructure that we're rolling out now in Providence and over the next few years to our family islands is, a global standard product in fiber to the home. And so that will, not only put us on the global level as the Bahamas and the services we provide, but it will also give our customers a world-class experience.
Aware of the rise in the cost of living, Carey assures the company is understanding of the times we all are in.
Never take any price increases lightly. We have to ensure that our customers see value for what they're paying for. You know, given all of the procurement challenges and costs that we've seen over the last 2 years due to COVID and a number of other international factors, we understand customers are very price conscious and sensitive given the rising cost of living, you know, today.
At the moment, the service is only available in certain areas in New Providence. Crews are going door to door informing residents of the new service. Carey says customers have the option to opt into the service and that the migration will only give customers a world-class experience in the future. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Well, a proposed increase by the Grand Bahama Power Company set for next month is not sitting well with most residents on Grand Bahama. The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, also weighing in on the power price hike announced by the GBPC this week. Minister Moxie's statement reads that with respect to the recent fuel charge rate increase by GBPC, we are sensitive to the burden placed on Grand Bahama residents and businesses still recovering from the impact of Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic. It continues, we are also mindful of the April 2020 increase of 1% as a storm recovery and stabilization charge for a period of 5 years to recover $15.6 million in storm damage, approved by the Grand Bahama Port Authority as regulators. We also note the January 2022 approval and April 2022 implementation of the increase of 3.3% to the base rate approved by GBPA. The release concluded by stating that the government was not made aware of the recent increase in fuel charge by GBPC or GBPA as proper protocols dictate. Now, the Grand Bahama Power Company, through its statement, notes that this increase is a direct reflection of the rise in global oil prices over the year, while contending that the hedging program continues to benefit consumers. Meantime, local doctors are on high alert following reports of the country's first case of cholera since 2017. A 52-year-old man testing positive for the illness last week. And with the country still battling the pandemic despite relaxed protocols, Dr. Stacey Bevins-Lang shares insight on detection and prevention. She explains that cholera is a bacterial infection usually spread through contaminated water or food. Both children and adults are affected. However, around 80% of people do not present symptoms.
The stool tend to be pale and milky. They may have fatigue and weakness. They can have nausea, vomiting. As it becomes more severe, they become dehydrated. Once they would have seen the physician and we do blood tests, we note that they'll have like electrolyte imbalance. They can have low blood pressure.
Lang encouraging the public to continue sanitary practices in order to avoid possible organ failure and even death. Dr. Leviticus Roll weighing in on the matter and notes that the medical community has amplified awareness of this illness as a means of ensuring that they are not missing the start of an epidemic.
Hand sanitizing, so wash your hands frequently. When we go out to eat, make sure we don't order things like raw meat, raw fish. So you have to be careful where you get those foods. Try not to get foods from the roadside. You need to ask the question, where are they getting their water from? Are they able to maintain a sanitized area during the preparation?
We would always be on concern for illnesses like cholera. By making that announcement, it makes us all aware that there's a possible case out there. And so if somebody presents with diarrhea and vomiting and fever, it makes us a bit more vigilant. We want to take a fuller history.
The Water and Sewage Corporation coming under fire tonight as many Moores Island residents allegedly grapple with ongoing water challenges on Abaco. Resident and junior member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, Darren Stewart, calling into question the corporation's handling of the matter. She says despite numerous emails to the corporation, many questions remain unanswered. Our Raven Davis has the details.
Water challenges continue to plague the Morris Island community. Resident and junior member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, Darren Stewart, lamenting the lack of this essential component to daily living, noting that it is a long-standing issue with far-reaching implications.
Sometimes during the week, the water would turn off. Like sometimes it'd be off for weeks. And then like through the week, it would turn off sometimes 8 in the night. I know, it would come back on in the morning. But by the time it come back on in the morning, it doesn't reach to every household. So can you imagine that students have to bathe in the morning before school, but then they don't have water. And then you have necessities that you have to perform, but then water isn't available.
The settlement of Hard Bargain, where Morris Island All-Age School is located, significantly impacted. And Stewart says with pandemic-induced learning loss, coupled with the teacher shortage already posing a challenge, the lack of water sometimes results in early school dismissal and intensifies Abaco's woes.
That the water is an issue, it then takes away from them receiving the little that they're being poured into.
But it's a familiar cry that has allegedly fallen on deaf ears.
I've been in contact with my MP. I must commend him for the work that he's doing, I must say. And I've been having the right conversations with him, basically addressing my concerns. And numerous times, I won't lie, I've heard that emails have been sent out to water and sewage. First, I feel like a total assessment would need to take place to, first of all, determine the problem and then solve it.
Now, our ZNS News team spoke to area manager at the Water Sewage Corporation, Tony Scriven, who is presently engaged in a series of high-level meetings and was only able to say that the corporation does have a solution in place that is expected to be executed within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Meantime, Stewart remaining hopeful that the island will garner the support it deserves. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Now, our ZNS News team also reached out to Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco, John Pinder, and we'll have a full report in tomorrow evening's newscast. Switching gears, the Royal Bahamas Police Force is sending out an appeal to the wider community to take notice of their loved ones' whereabouts and safety, as they are witnessing a number of persons who are mental patients that are leaving their homes without proper supervision.
The police wish to advise the public who have loved ones with special needs to please be more attentive to those loved ones and to always know their whereabouts. And if by chance you have to leave the island for any reason, please leave those loved ones with a responsible relative or in the custody of a caring person. And if they are on medication, please ensure that they are given their medication in a timely manner. We, the police, want them all to remain safe.
ASP Roll notes the police are still actively searching for Shaquille Ferguson and Stephanie Chisholm, who were recently reported missing. He says that the Royal Bahamas Police Force is doing its job in the ongoing search, but reveals that there are no leads as of yet in the investigation.
What I can say to the family members now, the police are doing their part. The family members need to assist us as well in looking for these individuals. We're doing all we can to make sure they return home safely. We have contacted our international counterparts in the event they have traveled to assist us with locating those individuals. And hopefully we find them very soon and return them back to their families.
Roll concludes with this urgent message to all persons that may have any information on any missing persons to call 919 or the Criminal Investigations Department at 350-3106. 56-year-old Christopher Sims was arraigned in the Freeport Magistrates Court today, accused of causing grievous harm and the attempted murder of Danny Lightbourne. The incident occurred around 9:10 a.m. on Thursday, September 15th. Preliminary reports reveal that an adult male reported to the police that while at a residence on Hearn Lane, he was approached by a male known to him who stabbed him about the body and threw acid on him. He was rushed to the hospital where doctors listed his injuries as serious. Due to the nature of the offense, Sims was not required to enter a plea and was denied bail. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until January 23rd of next year, when he is scheduled to return to court. Come back, a Bahamian author donating a special book on Grand Bahama to schools on the island. That story and a whole lot more, including the latest in sports, when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Come on down. Come on down now.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
Bahamas says now is the perfect time to do all those updates and repairs, changing your flooring or updating those windows. Now in stock at Conant Bahamas are stylish ceramic plank tiles, shower floor tiles, an array of sizes in porcelain tiles, laminate and vinyl flooring, impact and PVC windows. Conant Bahamas is stocked out with everything you need to enhance your beautiful home, so you enjoy life the way you should. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The East End Grand Bahama community, in conjunction with the Bahamas National Trust, joining forces for the revitalization of the missile base area. Officials say the East End community, which was one of the hardest hit by Hurricane Dorian, suffers the devastating impacts of storms and sometimes indiscriminate dumping, which degrades the environment and negatively impacts the livelihoods of residents. Our Raven Davis has this story.
With all hands on deck, the East Grand Bahama Men's Association turning up for a cleanup and mangrove restoration exercise in the missile base area at the mouth of Gold Rock Creek. Officials noting that the site had been adversely impacted by successive storms and its revitalization is a priority.
Over the past years, after all those hurricanes, everyone just neglecting and neglecting. So this is what we have. And now we have a two-pronged situation, whereas we have erosion and we have major erosions, and that's what happened with this area, because, I mean, if we don't do something for that in the short future, we won't even be able to access this creek. We noticed people started dump garbage and so forth in the area. If you could see, we had people dumping from outside. So what we do, we come out here, we clean up, and we start to make the area come back to life.
Grand Bahama Parks manager at the Bahamas National Trust, Eleuthera Ware, expressing that the organization fully supports the initiative. We are adding that Gold Rock Creek is the last fully intact creek system on the southern shore of Grand Bahama.
If you look at it, all of the others have been already developed out. So the association, they've realized the importance of this creek. And of course, strategically, you know, Lukai National Park is located in East Grand Bahama. So, you know, we see the importance of working closely with everyone, all of the stakeholders involved here.
Officials also replanting a number of mangroves in this area, and to note that they not only serve as a habitat for marine life, but also act as a defense for coastal communities.
And if we lose them, then we lose that guard, that safeguard. In fact, the coral reefs are the first line of defense, and then we move to the mangroves. So it's important that we do whatever we can to preserve them and protect them. And especially in this area, Gold Rock Creek serves a very important function, as I mentioned. There's a very healthy coral reef out at the ocean here on the southern shore, and the creek itself serves as a feeder, or you could say a fish producer, the fishing grounds and for the reef.
Cooper says the project will be ongoing as restoration is still at its infancy stage.
When it relates to the main East Grand Bahama, this is something from East and straight all the way to Sweden's Key. Whoever and whenever we call upon, we're looking for you all to come and assist us. The church, the men's ministry from the church as well, they express their concern and coming out and helping them with a project of such magnitude. So the need is there.
Now, Cooper also revealing that plans are in the pipeline to rebuild the ramp, which will provide access to boaters and many other East End residents who rely on fishing as their livelihood. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
The Bahamas District of Pilot International hosting its annual Fall Council. Members from 3 of the 6 clubs in the Bahamas assembling for the first in-person workshop since 2019. Governor Dorian Cox noting that the service-based organization is in full celebratory mode for the Founders' Day anniversary.
We come together in leadership workshops, and also we come to disseminate information from both the international and from the district with our club members. And so it's an interactive session. Today we're going to coined it interactive leadership. The leadership workshops are very important because we have persons in leadership positions in the clubs, and we want to hone their skills to be the best that they can be in service to the community. Our main focus with Pilot is normally with our anchors. Okay, we have a youth development program with Anchors and Compass, and our main thrust is brain and health safety.
Members fully immersing themselves in the session hosted by corporate trainer Deborah Pratt and president of the Pilot Club of Lucaya, Anitha Cooper, shares high hopes for the future.
It's a very interactive leadership workshop, so we expect to come out empowered, energized, and ready for the pilot year.
Well, a new variety show is coming to Grand Bahama, this time with a goal to serve the Grand Bahamian community in a charitable way. The show coordinators are sharing its plan and sending out an appeal to residents for support.
This event will be held at the Bishop Michael Eldon Auditorium, and we will be putting on an amazing production. I want to encourage everybody to come out and come watch this show. You will have a lot of surprise guests. Well, you already see Moody on the side of me, so you already know it's going to be a movie. And I will definitely be performing some of my best hits. And we have the mixed band, we have Sarge. So when you come out, you don't want to miss this one.
And we know how the theater operates, and so they have to be in operation to be able to keep their doors open. And so by persons being able to support this event, like we say, we'll be able to hit that target comfortably and probably even go beyond that, because we know that the cost, that inflation and everything, it's causing things to go up. And so whatever, a little, we ask the persons to come out and support.
Just Laugh Productions coordinator Berkeley Turnquest says support from the community can help the show to become a success. President of the Freeport Players Guild, Preston Knowles, extending gratitude to the production team.
But to see the plethora of talent that they have, involved, and the committee members and the work that they're putting in to make sure that this goes off and goes off well, it is commendable, and we are truly appreciative of it. And just wanted to remind the public that, we've received donations, and we've had a few events recently here at the theater, but we are still a little ways away from, our full repair, and of course welcoming audiences back to receive that quality production that we're used to putting on here. So we want to just urge members of the public and of course the corporate sector to support these guys' initiative.
The show will be held at the Bishop Michael Eldon School Auditorium on October 29th. Tickets can be purchased at Hallmark. Well, tour guide and published author Rudy Sawyer embarking on a mission to dispel the notion that there is nothing to do on the island of Grand Bahama. Sawyer recently releasing his new book, Grand Bahama Treasure and Tour Guide, 2nd edition, and notes that readers who immerse themselves in its content will be able to unlock the geographical, cultural, and historical uniqueness of the island. He says after Hurricane Dorian battered parts of Grand Bahama, he felt it necessary to revise the 1st edition.
The first book was really inspired to tell the story of Grand Bahama. What is there to do here? You know, we hear the question and the statement, why would anybody want to come to Grand Bahama? There's nothing to do there. So I thought I needed to find out. I know what is here to be done and what's to be do, and it's quite a bit. We just have a different emphasis than some of the other places, etc., in terms of our unique attributes. This book, particularly in the end, has a choral directory which lists every tourist-related business in every settlement with a phone contact. So no doubt what Dorian did to the east of Grand Bahama would have actually destroyed a lot of that businesses. So I thought this was an opportune time to redo the book.
All Grand Bahama schools, including Grand Key, recently receiving a copy of the book. BTVI also part of that number. Minister of State in the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Zane Lightbourne, on hand for the book presentation. He says, as someone who spent a considerable amount of time on the island, the book will serve as an insightful and much-needed addition to the community.
I'm very honored to receive an autographed copy of that book. So I'm going to read the 100-page book that he wrote about Grand Bahama, where I spent about 15 years of my life. And I thank him for doing that because, you know, we have to write our history. That's the only way we're going to be able to appreciate it, and our children are going to be able to appreciate what we've done.
Your check on sports is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to another exciting edition of sports right here in the North. We have quite a few sports updates for you. Let's begin with volleyball. High school volleyball action continued this week at the YMCA. In senior girls play, the defending champions BMES Lady Warriors took on St. George's Jaguars in a highly competitive game which went to 3 sets. When it was all said and done, it was the Warriors that emerged on top for the win.
That's a game that should not have gone 3 sets. The girls didn't step up to the play in the second game. Third game, there's a dogfight, but we pulled it off. I knew we were going to pull it off, and so I wasn't too much worried about that. But I had to call a timeout when I see the points was just getting a little too close. But all in all, I know I have the best team in the league, so it's just a matter of us putting it together. I have a 3-1 record, and I know I will be in championship, and I'll be going to nationals.
Now in junior girls play, BMES again won against Jack Hayward Jr. in 2 sets, 21-12 and 21-6.
I had no bench today, 6 girls, and we took it in 2 sets. So they were my best 6 players that showed up, 5 of the best 6 players. And so I'm happy they had the opportunity to win again because they were 1 and 2, so now they're 2 and 2.
Switching gears now, Container Port will be hosting its health, wellness, and safety basketball tournament this week. Teams participating this year will be Container Port, the Freeport Harbor, Buckeye Bahamas, the Grand Bahama Power Company, the Port Authority, Bahama Rock, and of course, Team ZNS. Games will begin at 6 p.m. sharp at St. George's Gym. And finally in sports, softball legend Churchill Tanner Knowles was recognized for achievements and contributions in sports as part of National Heroes Month, which is celebrated during the month of October. And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Grand Bahama, get ready for the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture Youth March and Rally Sunday, October 23rd from Martintown to St. Stephen's Park, 8 Mile Rock. Lineup begins at 3 p.m. Come one, come all.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
When it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Happy birthday to our special friend Randallette Roll, who is also our Facebook friend of the day. We also want to send a special happy birthday to Canon Curtis Robinson from the team here in the North. And that's going to do it for us here at ZNS Northern Service. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, on-the-spot hires. A political activist arrested. New ambassadors sworn in. And softball championships continue. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight, we have with us Debbie Bartlett, the face, the voice of ZNS for many years. Welcome back to the desk.
It feels so good. And you know what excites me? To see some of the familiar faces, the new faces like yourself. You're doing an excellent job.
Thank you so much. Now, you've been a mentor for many of us in the business. What inspired you? Who inspired you?
I became a journalist unexpectedly. I went to study law, and my speech professor said, "You belong on television." So I was the first black on CBS in Rock Island, Illinois, and I determined that I'll make it internationally from the Bahamas. Well, it took about 20 years to do it, but anyhow, it's good. So, but here, I am so grateful for the former general manager, Kelsey Johnson. I am grateful for Ed Bethel, Darrell Miller, the Honorable Obadiah Wilscombe. These are some of the best leaders. They created an environment, like Roscoe said, it was family. And let me tell you, can I tell you a little something right quick? I'll never forget one day, we finished an assignment. Those days, we had the vans with the radios. And about 20 minutes before 1 o'clock, Obie Wilscombe called as the news director and said, "You're on top story at 1." I said, "What?" We just coming out of the assignment. And as I was coming down the hallway, the jingle was on. And so I learned how to speak extemporaneously, and also made sure that I knew the story just as it is being spoken. And so I have a lot of fond memories, and I believe that we have some of the greatest leaders here in the Broadcasting Corporation, evidenced in our community, and I see that you and the team are continuing with that legacy. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll hear more from Debbie later in our newscast. Now on to tonight's top story. Many Bahamians contend that as the cost of living rises, so should wages. There's a counter-argument, though, that this could only happen to a certain degree. The Davis administration recently announced its plan to take a step in this direction with an increase in minimum wage, a move impacting tens of thousands counted as part of the labor force. While speaking more to the issue in Parliament this morning was the man with cabinet responsibility of making this happen. Our Altaviz Munnings has the story.
Although Labor Department officials have yet to conduct an official labor force survey, Labor and Immigration Minister the Honorable Keith Bell revealed in the House of Assembly Wednesday that an estimated 214,600 Bahamians are employed across the country. And government's new minimum wage proposal is expected to impact about 60,000 of them. That's nearly 25% of the workforce. On the table is a minimum wage increase of $260 per week from the current $210. To further break that down, that's $52 per day or $6.50 per hour.
I wish to make it clear to persons who are employed, who work incredibly hard and cannot survive off the current wage of $210 per week. The government is not saying that you should only earn $260 or that the sum is adequate. No. Indeed, the government recognizes that the minimum wage must, in time, be transitioned into a wage that is appropriate for today's costs of living.
This past January marked 20 years since the Minimum Wage Act was legislated, and there's only been one increase since then, and that was in 2015. Coupled with the intense research by the National Tripartite Council, the Davis administration's committed to keeping their promise of raising the minimum wage ceiling to phase in a livable wage this time around.
I emphatically emphasize that the transition to a livable wage over time can only be sustained and implemented if there are corresponding increases in efficiency and productivity. On a national level, our overall labor productivity must increase, and it can only increase by us continuing to offer opportunities for workers to upgrade their skills and offer education and training. Yes. We must also work smarter and use more efficient technologies to assist us in being more productive in the workplace.
Simply put, government's goal is to protect workers against unduly low pay and help ensure a just and equitable share of the fruits of progress to all. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings.
A resounding success. That's how the Labor and Immigration Minister described this past Saturday's Labor on the Blocks 2.0 job fair in Carmichael, South Beach, and Southern Shores communities. That featured some 45 employers. Minister Bell boasted that news of the job fair spread like wildfire.
A major hotel interviewed and hired a young lady on the spot and asked her to report to work at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Another hospitality participant hired 42 persons on the spot, and they began work on Monday gone. A local restaurant hired 44 persons on the spot, and they began work also on Monday gone. A luxury upscale retailer interviewed over 75 persons and identified 55 possible new staff pending background checks.
Well, still on news from the House of Assembly this morning, amid a serious concern following Moody's decision to downgrade the Bahamas, comes the renewed assurance the government's taking the necessary steps to avoid any future strain on the country's international economic standing. Legislatively, lawmakers today tabled the automatic exchange of financial account information bill, an amendment to the 2016 legislation. The aim to safeguard the economy, particularly the second pillar of financial services. Now, in tabling the bill, Minister of State in the Attorney General's office and Ministry of Legal Affairs, the Honorable Jomo Campbell, listed the country's compliance with 3 international regulatory organizations, among them the CFATF.
December 2021, the CFATF has re-rated the country in relation to recommendations 6, 7, 24, and 33 from partially compliant to largely compliant, and recommendations 19, 22, 26, 27, and 28 from partially compliant to compliant. Today, the Bahamas is compliant with 18 recommendations and largely compliant on 20 of them. Combined, they represent 38 out of the 40 FATF recommendations.
Opposition leader Michael Pintard, meantime, chiding the government for what he says was its failure to act in a timely fashion. And this in the face of the former F&M administration reportedly leaving in place a pathway to deal with the potential of blacklisting that he charges the PLP government failed to follow. For its part, the government has stressed its commitment to closing the remaining gaps expeditiously and to seek a redetermination of the country's status within the shortest possible time.
the government puts out a fiscal strategy report, does not follow the very report they put in print. In fact, when the report was released, not hardly any of the ministers in here even saw it before it was released. So if you were responsible for state-owned enterprises and we asked you about it, you didn't know? Because they didn't have the respect to actually let you see the report. It was released, and it was released online, not even in here as required by law. That impacts our credibility. And Moody has indicated that because this government says one thing in print and does something else in actuality, they could not take your predictions about what steps you're going to take seriously.
Tempers flared outside of the House of Assembly early today as a clash with police and the leader of a political party ended with more than one person behind bars. Cleopatra Murphy shares how it all unfolded.
A chaotic scene outside the House of Assembly Wednesday morning as Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Bain was arrested, escorted into a police cruiser and carted off to the Central Police Station. Bain and a few of his supporters were arrested following a confrontation and apparent shoving match with a police officer who told Bain he and his followers were participating in an unlawful assembly and requested they relocate to Rawson Square. Soon after, the situation deteriorated, with the Fringe Party leader claiming the officer assaulted him unprovoked.
I'm the leader of a registered political party, delivering documents to members of parliament who had no problem receiving those documents. And an officer decided to assault me, to push me, and to say that I should be arrested for assaulting him when he assaulted me. I never touched him.
Bain, who had to be lifted from the floor and forcibly placed in the police vehicle, says the group was never participating in a protest. Instead, we're there to present House members with a draft amendment to the Bahamas Nationality Act in the face of what he says is an illegal immigration crisis.
Why is it that Bahamians have to always be assaulted and beat down? Is this some Gestapo state? The UN does not allow for political persecution. For me to be arrested delivering letters to the House of Assembly to cooperative members of parliament, and then to be assaulted for no reason by a police officer, that means that we have gone to a Gestapo state. We are now a fascist nation.
Bain is threatening a lawsuit against police officers, but Acting Commissioner of Police Lehman Delaveau defended the response.
Police did their job professionally, and the police will continue to do their job professionally. No one is above the law. No one, including me.
He adds that Bain was arrested for unlawful assembly as he never sought permission for his gathering. Further, that he was obstructing entry into the House of Assembly.
There's a likelihood that an investigation will be done, and based on the investigations, he will be charged. And that's it. And I think 2 other persons were arrested for similar offenses, including disorderly behavior.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. In the tropics, we have a couple of tropical waves propagating from east to west, but they are having a difficult time developing, and that's because of the presence of that Sahara dust in the far east Atlantic, and that coupled with the strong upper-level westerly flow, which continues to prohibit any kind of deep vertical development, which is very necessary for the development of tropical cyclone. Hence, over the next 5 days, we don't anticipate any development. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with my business.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
And it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
What makes us experts? Every bite. And while it's impossible to know how many there have been in KFC's history, each one of them is crucial. Because our secret travels from mouth to mouth. And we know that the first bite will never be the last. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, a triple breaded chicken breast, premium mayo, pickles, lettuce, tomato, and cheese on a buttery brioche bun. All our chicken expertise in a sandwich. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, only at KFC Nassau.
Hun, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR.
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4, EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Atlantic. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right.
To think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Six new ambassadors joined the ranks of the country's diplomatic representatives. The swearing-in ceremony taking place at the Bahamas Ballroom on Tuesday. It's there that the new appointees received their instruments of appointment from Governor General the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius A. Smith. His Excellency Alfred Gray officially sworn in as High Commissioner to Canada. Her Excellency Cheryl Bazard as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to the Kingdom of Belgium. Her Excellency Sharon Wilson, Ambassador to the United Mexican States. His Excellency Anthony Ferguson, Ambassador to New Zealand. His Excellency Cedric Scott, Ambassador to Japan. And His Excellency Paul Rowe, Ambassador to the International Maritime Organization. Now, we spoke with Ambassadors Bazard and Rowe on their intentions.
Bahamas has been on the European Union's blacklist, and so there's a lot of work to be done in terms of fomenting greater relationships and understanding between the Bahamas and the EU and the Kingdom of Belgium by extension, and to make sure that we deal with the issue of blacklisting and to make sure that the Bahamas is seen as the country that it is.
Right now we have about 1,500 ships, oil platforms, bulk carriers, and pleasure crafts, which make up an even greater number. And we want to continue to market our destination and try to attract those new companies and to bring their new vessels here.
Diplomatic Week coming to an end today. The final panel discussion serving as an educational tool between diplomats in the exchange of policy, information, and guidelines between countries and members of the public, including public and private school students who had the opportunity to ask pertinent questions to better understand the inner operations of the diplomatic service. Ambassador at Large for Environmental and Educational Matters, who also served as chairperson for Diplomatic Week, His Excellency Ron Pinder spoke more to the objective for the high-level exchange in dialogue.
They're giving updates not only on Bahamian government priorities, but the foreign ambassadors are giving updates on their government's priorities and the point or the kind of interaction that they would like to see between ourselves and the kind of diplomatic relations that they want to develop and continue. I think one of the highlights was the need for constant communication, as well as keeping each other informed of opportunities abroad. There are a lot of investment opportunities, a lot of educational opportunities, scholarship-wise, that I think Bahamians need to be aware of and take advantage of. And there are a lot of touristic opportunities between countries, traveling and exploring.
Ambassador Pinder says he is pleased that the objectives have been met.
We are pleased of the level of dialogue thus far, and our mantra coming out of this is that the Bahamas wants to be friends with all nations and enemies to none. And so that's what we want the Bahamian people to understand, that we represent the interests of the Bahamas government that is, and Bahamians wherever they are. And we are learning, and I'm learning, that wherever a Bahamian is, that's where the Bahamas is. And that's so important that we avail ourselves properly and represent the interests of the government and the Bahamian people.
The turmoil in Haiti and the Bahamas government's commitment to assist or not in helping to slow, if not stop, the lawless tide there continues to be questioned and discussed at the highest level of central government. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, telling ZNS News exclusively today that he and his colleagues in government are seriously milling over the question of whether or not the Bahamas will commit to a policing action under the aegis of the United Nations and CARICOM to help its neighbor. According to Minister Mitchell, request of assistance in kind would not be a first. However, he says the government is awaiting more detail before a definitive decision is made.
In 1994, under the aegis of the United Nations, the Bahamas government committed 141 soldiers to the peacekeeping operation at that time. There's been a request by sister CARICOM nation, which is Haiti, that there's disorder and it requires assistance, which will require boots on the ground. They wrote the Secretary General of the United Nations, and he wrote the Security Council saying that some sort of action needs to be taken to support bringing order back to Haiti. So all CARICOM countries have been asked, are they willing to join such an operation? We have to know what the extent of the mission is. The mission cannot succeed if it's just restoring order without a long-term political solution. So all of those modalities and nuances are being worked out behind the scenes, and we await the disposition of the United Nations to determine to what extent we're going to be engaged and at what level we'd be engaged. At this point, there's no specific commitment, except that we're on standby, that if we're called upon, we may have to make a contribution either in kind or in material or in personnel.
Dumbfounded and thrown for a loop is how Rise Bahamas founder and president Ternille Burrows says she felt after Press Secretary Clint Watson accused women's rights group of being silent on the issue of marital rape. Burrows says the remarks were particularly disturbing as the Bahamas Crisis Center has been at the fore advocating for a change to the law to expand protections against rape for more than a decade.
For someone that's in such a position of power as a press secretary to make a statement that I feel is so bombastic and unfounded, it really shows us that either we need some housekeeping issues to be done in government, or we as rights advocates groups for women and children need to really start carrying on bad, be quite frank, because we might have been too civil for too long, and they take that as though we here for jokes. Like, just to break it down to a colloquial level, right? So at the end of the day, I consider it to be a benefit that the statement was made, because we're now going to really show out and you're going to see us and hear us and feel us.
Burroughs maintains that the rights and protection of parents are just as important as those of children. She says they have been fighting for Marco's law for 8 years, charging that she does not care what the government says, but what it does. When it comes to consultation on marital rape legislation, Burroughs believes up to this point, the government has been more concerned about engaging religious groups.
They haven't really run after advocates and groups that intervene and provide counseling and services to these people. A lot of times you only hear about one or two that are invited to the table. When we're talking about victims' rights and them having a voice and no longer being voiceless, the advocacy groups, the women's rights organizations, the child protection groups are the ones that the government should be seeking out first and foremost above any religious grouping or entity.
Now, Press Secretary Clint Watson has since apologized for his inaccurate comments about the efforts of women's rights group in the country. Watson, in a brief statement last evening, acknowledged he should have been more aware of their active involvement in the consultation process, adding that he has been briefed on the ongoing stakeholder meetings regarding draft legislation. He concluded by noting that, quote, "We all want to see Bahamians participate in the ongoing national dialogue regarding protecting women in the country." Well, now for that part of our newscast where viewers participate in our weekly poll question, and here's how it works. Listen in for the question and then log on to our website, and that's www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. This week's question is, how often should minimum wage be increased here in the Bahamas? A, every 3 years, B, every 5 years, or C, every 10 years. Now, the poll's final results will be aired on Friday. As always, thanks for participating. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report returns.
And you're watching The Bahamas Tonight. Stay with us.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
A number of Grand Bahamians have built lifelong relationships with international guests through the People-to-People program. Charles LaRota shares why it's time for Bahamians to join in on this life-changing initiative.
First of all, it's something that's essential. When people travel and they go to a place where they're not known or they don't know anybody, it's comforting to know that there's somebody there that you can call on, that you can feel like you have a friend at the destination. And over the years with the People-to-People program, we have developed a lot of friendships, and it's almost like family that we have developed. But, you know, the People-to-People program came out of an existing natural thing that Bahamians did. We realized the importance of tourism many years ago. And Bahamians were always hosting through the lodges, through the churches, through other international organizations. And so when the ministry made it legal, like Eddie Minnis said in this song, the ministry done legalized People-to-People, it became official, and it really worked. It's an excellent program. My favorite part about being in the program was meeting persons of similar interests on an international scale where you can expand your interests. And that has worked for a lot of the persons in the program, because you get to learn more and grow your interests and grow your business with the experience of persons from other countries. The minute you say the Bahamas throughout the world, it's like doors open for you. And that is because of the natural warmth of the people in the Bahamas. And I would encourage every Bahamian to join the People-to-People program, do the Bahama Host course so that you are familiar with your Bahamian history, geography, and whatever. And join the People-to-People program because it puts you directly in contact with persons from around the globe. And when they come here, it gives them a wealth of experience that they go back home and brag about it.
For more information on how you can sign up for People-to-People, visit Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
Education stakeholders, your attention please. Tune in to ZNS TV on Wednesday, October 19th, 2022 at 8 p.m. to watch coverage of the Bahamas High School Diploma Review Commission's Town Hall meeting held at St. George's High School. Join us to stay up to date on valuable information and timely discussion.
for hurricane season. We got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
Continuing with our special 45th anniversary and television highlight on those positively impacting the BCB, this next feature profiled someone in the trenches, so to speak, since 1987. Small in stature, but a giant in his field, this employee has remained true to his personal commitment of providing quality service by any means necessary. Tonight, our Lloyd Allen presents to you Cameraman Roscoe Gibson.
In those days, was like a family.
Gibson recounts his early days starting as a security guard on the compound. Eventually, he says his interests led him behind the camera, something he remains passionate about, and an opportunity provided by former newsroom director Obi Wilchcombe.
He told me whenever in the night, if I have nothing to do, he gave me some keys for the equipment room. He said, just go in there, grab a camera, and practice it every day, every night.
Gibson recalls the excitement from his first real assignment, an accident that nearly proved fatal.
A truck went into a lady's house, missed her by an inch. She was watching TV. She said her mind just tell her to get up. The minute she get up, the truck went straight into the house. So House was the writer. House wrote the story the next morning, leave it for Katie. Of course, we wanted to know who shot it. He was so excited. So I said, it was shot by Roscoe. So he said, wow. And from then, I went from there.
Roscoe says over his 35 years, there have been many experiences like meeting the late Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling during a food festival assignment held on Spanish Wells. Even then, he says skills learned helped to set him apart from the others.
The machine decided it would not lock up. So Lyndon biting his nail. I said, Lyndon, relax yourself, I get this. And so what I did, because what I do, I used to go in engineering every day and watch Neil and talk with Neil about the equipment, the things that we encounter. So Neil showed me how to break down the machine, clean it and everything. So I know I had it. I know we were straight. A minute before Sir Lyndon came on, I had the machine put back together and we were ready to roll.
He says there have been many ups and downs, but it's the love of his career and the family atmosphere at ZNS that has kept him committed to informing, educating, and entertaining behind and now in front of the camera.
Nothing like family, you know. And ZNS became a family to me, you know. I love what I do. This ain't just a job to me.
Celebrating 45 years in television, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Roscoe Gibson, a great cameraman. A new partnership launched between 2 local powerhouses. They all in an effort to provide innovative experiences to loyal customers. Desmond Saunders tells us more.
One of the nation's premier telecommunications providers cementing ties with a local leading entertainment center to expand its brand. Scores turning out to celebrate the new partnership between Bahamas Telecommunications Company and Fusion Superplex. BTC Chief Executive Officer Cholera.
What it means is a great opportunity for co-branding, awareness, certainly of the BTC brand. What it means is it's something for the community. We'll have a pop-up store here where you can buy devices, you can enjoy BTC services, you can pay a bill. So we make it convenient here as a part of the Fusion Superplex experience. It also means that we can collaborate with the Fusion Superplex team on new initiatives, exciting initiatives that may be around conferences, workshops, events, and great opportunities for the Bahamian public to partake.
Both BTC and Fusion will now collaborate on special projects along with community and branding initiatives. There's also more bandwidth and greater connectivity for theater patrons through BTC's launch at Fusion. BTC's connection with the $42 million 100,000 square foot facility expected to create unique offerings to the public. Fusion CEO Carlos Folks sees the partnership as a win-win.
We have a lot of cross-promotion activity going on and a lot of strategic objectives that we as a company, both of our companies, will do together in the community. Whether it will be charitable activity, educational activity like our project Empower, where we have students that come in and they see our IMAX product, that wonderful high-definition 3D. We will talk about streaming activities, how we work that into our educational program, and BTC is our partner. They provide all of our internet, our phone services, our mobile services. And then there are obviously the cross promotions on our side. This building is now branded BTC because this is their home. This is their home for entertainment. This is their home for their marketing promotions.
Local recording artist Bodine Victoria Johnson and local entrepreneur Reno Culmer are both Bahamas Telecommunications Company brand ambassadors who are now excited about the new partnership and the value it brings to their entertainment careers.
BTC has partnered with me in 2008, and they are very responsible for the landmark things I've accomplished in the region as a female artist from the Bahamas, female solo artist. And they've injected money into my career through these types of partnerships. So this particular year, as we continue to see the art and the culture grow, what BTC is being able to provide me is extra opportunities, plus more funding, to be able to execute that and share our culture with our kids and with our communities.
Amazing opportunity. I'm so thankful and grateful for the opportunity to be a part of, the organization and this collaboration.
Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
Well, 7 years ago, the PACE Foundation set out to arm student mothers and other young people with the tools needed to boost their confidence. Today, that initiative has become an annual feature on schools' calendars in a continued push to develop and improve good character. Well, today, our LaDawn Davis not only caught up with representatives, but visited one of the schools participating in Character Day.
A variety of characters like this dancing soldier was one of dozens on full display at the Carlton Francis Primary School's Character Day celebrations. Veteran educator Bodine Johnson was a featured guest artist again this year. A few students we spoke to shared their characters with us.
Because I represent Dorothy, because I am nice and kind, and I'm very helpful, and I help people.
I represent no more bullying, just kindness and respect.
This event is impacting our children because, they have been socially distant in the virtual platform. Here it is now, they're building team spirit, they're building their skills, and they are showcasing their talents today.
President of the PACE Foundation, Sonia Brown, says most of the schools and several civic organizations have been strong partners in this campaign, and this year is no different.
Some years we've had up to 200 people participate in the workshops. The pandemic gave us an opportunity to provide in-person and virtual, and so we had persons as far as Mayaguana, Acklands, Long Island participating alongside persons in New Providence. And so we've had a high level of participation.
Brown says for the past 7 years, the PACE Foundation has adopted the 19th of October to boost the confidence levels of hundreds of student mothers who have found themselves assuming the responsibility of raising a family very early in their lives.
And one of the themes that we notice when we talk to the coordinators who work with the students is they talk about the girls having low self-esteem. Like, that is a common theme. And what they have to do to keep them motivated is to work on their character strengths. So when we heard about Character Day, this international event happening 7 years ago, we decided this is a wonderful thing to bring to the Bahamas, and it's a great addition to our initiative.
Character Day officials are hopeful that the event not only makes a lasting impression on the students, but improves their character traits as well. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
It's Cookie Month for the Bahamas Girl Guides Association, and if you've got a sweet tooth, you can choose from 8 varieties of cookies now on sale. The fundraiser assists in supporting the work of the Girl Guides, particularly at their Marshall Road campsite that gives the girls the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors and their overall environment. Girl Guides Chief Commissioner Legia Burrows boasts that cookie sales have been going well.
What we encourage our girls to do is to think about their marketing strategy. Who are you going to sell to, and how are you going to sell the cookies? And so really they are responsible for marketing their cookies, they're responsible for distribution. So these are life skills, and that's what Girl Guides is all about, preparing girls to be productive citizens, to make good, wise decisions.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
You'll be all smiles after shopping the aisles at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Ronzoni ready-cut macaroni, 16-ounce, $2.29. Rainbow mackerel, 15-ounce, $1.69. Cremoland Homo milk, 1 gallon, $6.99. Whole chicken wings, $1.99 per pound. Generic bleach, 1 gallon, $3.99. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter. Teamwork definitely makes the dream work. Parks and Beaches, Bahamas, and Goldwyn are a perfect fit aligned to produce a state-of-the-art park at Goodlands Bay. Ongoing discussions will produce the results that Bahamians and visitors have waited for and will enjoy for many decades to come. Our redevelopment will include the complete renovation of the landscaping, lighting, parking, vendoring, recreational areas, playground and security surveillance, beach cleaning machines, park wardens, and lifeguards, just to name a few. We are proud of our new way of thinking and will produce new results Bahamians are demanding.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time. Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking. Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early. Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3. Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me, but it's so fast I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Labor and Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, learning more about his ministry's operations in Eleuthera during a recent tour of that island. One of the challenges, North Eleuthera Administrator Stephen Wilson and Harbor Island Chief Councillor Terrence Davis shared concerns about illegal immigration. Over on Spanish Wells, challenges linger about poachers. Minister Bell assured that his ministry is committed to addressing such concerns. Bell and his team also visited Blackwood's shantytown in North Eleuthera, as well as Harbor Island's immigration office and another over in Lower Bogue, where he listened to the concerns of staffers. In the South, Administrator Harvey Roberts led the minister on a tour of the Rock Sound Immigration Office. Now, accompanying Bell on a tour of the Immigration Office on Cupid's Key, Governor's Harbor, was Minister responsible for local government and North and Central Eleuthera Member of Parliament, the Honorable Clay Sweeting.
And it's now time for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. I want to just give you a quick history note, though, Macusla. You know what? I tried to do weather first. Didn't work with me. You just have to know what you're not born to do. So I called the Met Office, and Basil Dean was the first professional weatherman, and obviously he is world class. Basil, I just love you. Good evening.
Good evening, Debbie, and let me take this time to thank you for the role you played in causing weather to be a part of the evening television newscast. Now, outside of our studios, we're under mostly cloudy skies, temperature at 83 degrees, relative humidity 76%. We have north-northwest winds at 11 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,012.6 millibars, that's 29.93 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Valleys this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 74 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Toll Key in Abaco, Marsh Abaco at 76 degrees, to Berry Island 79, Allenstown, Bimini 76, 80 degrees in Harbor Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera 81, Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp's Base on Andros at 83 degrees. Fresh Creek, Central Andros 80 degrees, 81s in Allenstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 82 degrees, 83s in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Ackland, Matthewtown, Niagara, 85, and the Turks and Caicos Islands also at 85 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Pink Setter. For the Northwestern Islands, right through Friday, northerly winds at 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide takes place at 10:40 tonight, another low tide at 10:43 tomorrow morning. Now, for the Central and Southeastern Islands, also through Friday, the winds are going to be light and variable with very flat seas 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Stop the world. I want to get off. Stop the world and let me off. Tired of going round and round. I've played the game of love and loss. You stop the world and let me off.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, the extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Play the game of love and loss.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Shopping online isn't new to the market, but gaining access to affordable healthcare products at the click of a button is the greatest customer experience. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited gives access to a complete customer journey, from shopping in our retail store on 9th Terrace, Centerville, to shopping online at your convenience from work or from the comfort of your home. Offering delivery and pickup options. Remember, if it's healthcare, it's here. Shop online today.
Our future is here. And no matter the result, we must come together. Together, we will innovate. Together, we will lead the way. Our future belongs to us. Happy Election Day, my fellow Bahamians. Leading the Bahamas in home improvement since 1973.
As a CEO, it really delights me, quite frankly, to have such young, nimble, agile thinkers. Their innovation and creativity is really at the forefront when they show up for work and they're fully committed. Nothing, in my mind, beats the benefit of experience. The benefit of them on our team is tremendous. To really be thinking about fiber to the home is like the next frontier of technology. Rollout across the entire new province really brings a lot of excitement and energy to our teams. And I'm delighted to be thinking about the future of the Bahamas with fiber to the home everywhere.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Good evening, everybody. It's time for Sports on a Wednesday. I'm Charles Fisher. It was Game 2 of the New Providence Softball Association Men and Ladies Championship Series Tuesday night at the Blue Hills Bankers Field. Well, let's start off with the ladies. Sunshine Auto Wildcats already up 1-0 in the best-of-5 affair, taking on the Rob Operators. This one close, 4-all after 5. Would stay that way until the 7th, when the Wildcats would erupt for 8 runs in the top half to go up 12-4. Operators tried to mount a comeback, but fall short 12-7, and now find themselves down 2-0.
The last 3 innings, I told my girls to let's tighten up. We needed to, the 4 was a little monkey on our back, but when the hitter came up and she gave us that blast, that boosted the team. The mindset we came from the first game with, I told them let's keep the same momentum and keep it going. Nobody get down on each other in the dugout, and let's stay positive.
After a close game, many people were expecting a closer game in 2.
Yeah, they're looking for a shadow game, but I remember playing this team 2 years ago, maybe 3, and they came back from a 2-0 and won 1 game, but we shut the series out in 4.
I mean, in the 7th inning, we had them, we was tied. Things just went haywire, bad coaching, little mistakes on everybody's part, but once we settle down and once we come together and play the ball, we know we can play. Team can beat us. We need to hit the ball first off. We need to hit the ball, we need to back our pitcher, and we need to stay together.
For the men, this one not close at all, seeing as Hitmen brought out the bats as Hitmen take a 2-0 lead with a 12-0 win. Game 3 in both series set for Thursday. Win or it's over for the Blue Marlins and the Operators. This weekend, the Bahamas will host the Bahamas Beach Soccer Cup. Our ladies and Coach Daria Adley looking forward to the exposure, having not ever played an international match on home sand.
Our last competition was in March when we played in the El Salvador Beach Cup, and we have been back and we were on a little hiatus for a while. So it's been like 7 months since we've actually been in an international competition. And so for us, like Coach Gavin stated, it's going to take us a while. Hopefully, we've had some new players that have joined. This will be their first international competition. But we have, I would say, veteran players, but they're young. So our veteran player might be 19 years old, but they're a veteran player who's been playing who's had maybe like 3 international competitions this year. So those players, along with the newcomers, like Hadassah said, the spirits are high. The chemistry is really great with the ladies. We're excited to come out and showcase ourselves. I don't think the Bahamas realizes that, yes, with the men, they also have women who are playing beach soccer, and they can be fantastic and wowing just like the men. And so I think that we are going to come out here and showcase ourselves and prove to the Bahamas that we are a force to be reckoned with.
The Bahamas has hosted many international matches before, including the World Cup qualifiers, and according to BFA General Secretary Fred Lund, they hope to do it again May 2023.
A bid to host the World Cup qualifiers here in 2023. We did it several years ago, and it was a tremendous success. It was the biggest viewership of any event that CONCACAF had ever put on. So we hope we can repeat that. When we hosted the World Cup here in 2017, we had some 54,000 local people attend the World Cup between the fan zone and the stadium. As you know, the stadium actually holds around 3,000 people. So to have that sort of number show up, there were a lot of people who were watching it sort of on the outside, on the big screens, that couldn't get in to watch it. So we would encourage people to come in.
More from soccer. University of Bahamas Mingo's men's team kicking around the competition so far in the Bahamas Football Association, as they ran their record to 4-0 on the season with a 5-1 win over one of the top teams in the league, the Bears Football Club, and take sole control of the top spot.
It was a brilliant win, but granted, Bears missing a few players due to red card, due to these soccer games coming up, but we came out and did the job. We kept the ball moving. As a team, we learned from the mistakes in the previous games, and we came out and did what we had to do.
And that's going to do it for sports. Thanks for watching. I'm Charles Fisher. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium, the best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for default credentials. Default passwords exist with almost every operating system and application. Point number 1, check the default passwords on all hardware and software and change passwords immediately. Test the credentials to see if they are still valid. When changing passwords, make sure that the new password is strong, unique, and stored securely. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Let this week's specials put a smile back on your face at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.49. 123 cooking oil, 33.8 ounce, $4.19. Gatorade drinks, 64 ounce, 2 for $6.49. Center cut pork chops, $2.99 per pound. Fresh limes, 3 for 99 cents. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse with my computer at the same time. Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking. Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early. Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3. Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me, but it's so fast I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses, including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road, and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have a very broad area of cloudiness associated with a frontal system that's pushing through the northwest Bahamas, and that should move into the central Bahamas later on tonight. Well, we anticipate it will stall and then start to back up as a warm front, stall again just to the south of the capital, and then start moving back towards the south as well. So this area of cloudiness is going to be with us for several days, taking us right into Sunday before we have that final push, and a nice cool stream of air is expected to flow in, and you'll notice those difference in temperatures over the next couple of days. Cloudy conditions tonight with a couple of showers, even an isolated thunderstorm, still very much in the mix. The low temperature tonight getting down to 74 degrees, and tomorrow it's going to be partly cloudy with an isolated thunderstorm still looking around. High temperature tomorrow, just around 83 degrees, and your extended weather forecast, the wet stuff will be with us, as we said already, right into Saturday. But come Sunday, you'll notice an increase in sunshine as the areas start to push towards the south and east. But most importantly, look at those temperatures. Low 80s on Friday. That's going to be very cool, and those nighttime temperatures dropping into the low 70s. So we get now first little taste of some cool weather. Makishla?
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. And thank you for continuing to make ZNest your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Well, Debbie, any words of advice for the Broadcasting Corporation as we press ahead for another 45 years and counting?
I enjoyed this time with you. And I was thinking that what you're doing and going back to the foundation, those people that made ZNS great. I saw Agnes Ferguson, and I know Michelle Malcolm, Matt Mora, Katie Longley. They helped build the standard. Even before them, we had Dorothy Panzer. And I cannot help but also remember Sandra Knowles, who was responsible for the studio that Basil Dean was in. But I would say, for advice, man, take the world by storm. You are world class, and we should never be satisfied only to think locally. You were born to influence the world. So I would say, as the chairman said recently, as I know you have a great general manager that has vision and belief in the people, I would say to you, do not stop until you soar and make an impact on the world.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Welcome to the Bahamas High School Diploma Review Commission's Town Hall meeting. It's a meeting with members of the public to dialogue with commission members as they review and